Welcome to my kombucha making. These are some of the supplies I use. These are Otis bottles from Amazon, Otis Kolsch bottles. This is the setup for prepping. My KitchenAid hand mixer, some measuring cups, the fruit I'm going to use, a batter bowl, my tea, my cane sugar. The tea bags will go in the batter bowl, and then I'll pour the hot water over. Let's turn it on. Here's where I store my kombucha when it's going through its first fermentation. It's a fairly dark area. It's warm. You can see right where I put it. Here's a batch of kombucha that's already been through first fermentation. That's a muslin cover and rubber band. It's important that your kombucha be able to breathe, but you want to keep bugs out. And there's your SCOBY. Looks gross, but it doesn't feel gross, I promise. So now I'm prepping the tea bags. In mine I use 8 tea bags. I'll tie like 4 and 4 together and pop them in the batter bowl with the tags hanging out. And then when the hot water is ready, I'll pour it over. That's the cane sugar that I'll add once it's steeped, 3/4 of a cup. And I do sometimes add some cane sugar to my fruit if it seems a little tart and not very sweet. SCOBY likes sugar. So this is pureeing the fruit. You have to have a fairly smooth puree. You don't want chunks in there. And now we pour the boiling water over the tea. It's important that your container that you have your tea steeping in can handle boiling water. Some glass containers will shatter. Ask me how I know. This batter bowl I got on Amazon as well. You have to have a cup of pureed fruit for 3 bottles, 3 16-ounce bottles of kombucha. You're going to use a 1/3 cup in each one. I generally like to do 2 different flavors and 6 bottles. You'll get 6 bottles out of 1 gallon of kombucha. Strawberry is by far our favorite. We do really like the raspberry as well, and we like pineapple ginger. This is a setup with the bottles. So you can see why it's important to have a fairly fine puree. And you'll put a 1/3 cup of pureed fruit in each one of the bottles. That one was raspberry, and it's delicious. And raspberry is also very pretty. You want to make sure you keep your utensils in your area clean. So you'll see me rinsing things frequently. And here goes the strawberry. Kombucha loves strawberry. It will go through that second fermentation so fast with the strawberry. Bloop, bloop, bloop. And we rinse. Now we remove the SCOBY from the first fermentation of the kombucha. And you're going to put it in a big bowl. You got to give your kombucha a little bit of a stir because some particles will be settled to the bottom, and you want them all mixed in. Now you're going to reserve 2 cups of the first fermentation of the kombucha. That's going to be your starter along with the SCOBY for your next batch of kombucha. And now we pour it into the bottles. get ready, this is messy. I usually put paper towels under the bottles just to try and make cleanup a little bit easier, but it's gonna be drippy, so I do it next to the sink. So it's not, it kind of contains the mess. It's not too bad. Sometimes it'll fizz up really fast inside the bottle as you fill it. I generally try to fill the bottles, and you'll see right there it kind of fizzed up and came out. That's okay. I'll push the funnel into the bottle a little bit because it kind of contains it, kind of holds it in there. I generally try to fill the bottles to at least the shoulders of the bottles, but if I could get it a little bit higher up into the neck, I'll do that. And you can see that here. I'm very slowly adding a little bit more to each bottle to try and fill it up to the neck. You have to keep at least an inch of headroom at the top so that the kombucha has a little bit of airspace for the gas. And it looks like it's gonna be too full, but I promise you it won't, because it fizzes up quite a bit. And then once that fizz sets down a little bit, you'll see that it's not too full. That's a good one right there. Next, we wipe off surfaces. We're gonna let those settle down a little bit. I also rinse off the outside of the glass jar that the first fermentation was in and dry it well. I don't rinse the inside. Next, you're gonna add 2 quarts of cool water. I use the cool filtered water from my fridge. It's important that you don't pour that boiling tea into that glass container unless that cool water's in there. So now we're going to take out the tea bags. We're going to squeeze them out, get all that tea goodness. And now we're adding 3/4 of a cup of organic cane sugar. I use decaf tea bags, but you don't have to. I've made it with Lipton, I've made it with fancy tea. This happens to be English breakfast. So now you'll see why the batter bowl is important, because it's got the spout. So now I pour the hot tea, which has the sugar completely dissolved in it, into the glass jar. And I do use a thermometer to keep an eye on my temperature. You do not want this to rise above 90 degrees or it will kill your SCOBY. Generally speaking, the cool fridge water and then the hot tea keeps it below 90 degrees. Now we pour that reserved first fermentation and the SCOBY into the jar. And I'm pretty meticulous. That's a damp paper towel. I wipe it down to make sure it's clean. And then I put my muslin back over top. I do not wash that muslin, by the way. It stays very clean where it is. And then we put it where we store it. You can see how dark it is in there. You want a dark, kind of not hot place, but cozy room temperature space. And now on to getting the bottles ready for the second fermentation. Again, I do try to keep things as clean as possible, and I like to use paper towels because they're very sanitary. And I will wipe down each of the bottles and around the neck, and then I will close them. I do like the red caps that have the hole in the center. They seem to ferment a little bit better. Here's the strawberry. Gotta keep everything clean. I store them for the second fermentation in this pantry cabinet. It's dark. It's an interior cabinet in my house, so it doesn't get cold in the winter, it doesn't get hot in the summer. And again, it's really important that you keep everything sanitary and clean. So everything goes in the dishwasher that can go in the dishwasher. always wash your hands. Every step of the way, if your hands get sticky or messy, make sure you wash your hands. And now we clean up our surfaces. You're seeing me wipe down, but I do also use an organic essential oils based spray cleaner on my surfaces as well. This is kind of the initial wipe down. And that's how I make kombucha.